So the MCU is expanding now thanks to Disney Plus, and I wanted to talk about a huge piece of news that seems to have gone under the radar for a couple of Marvel fans. As most of you know that before Disney Plus, Marvel had a deal with Netflix to produce some more edgier and darker based content, if you will. And this was focused on edgier and darker stories based on darker characters in the Marvel Universe. And one of those characters was Daredevil, and with the rights to the character now having reverted back to Disney, or the MCU in this case, I thought I'd talk about a couple of ways and a couple of ideas I had about how Daredevil could be reintroduced into the MCU. So the first one is Matt Murdock making a potential appearance in Spider-Man 3. So quite a while ago there were rumours of Matt Murdock playing the role of Peter Parker's lawyer, since Spider-Man himself was framed for the murder of Mysterio. However, Mysterio has probably been debunked due to all the Spider-Verse rumours appearing on the internet, like with Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield showing up, a live-action Miles Morales, Spider-Gwen, Doctor Strange. Yeah, it's quite crazy. And, I mean, I would love for Matt Murdock to show up in Spider-Man 3 so we could reconnect him to the MCU, but I don't think that will happen, really. Number 2, a Daredevil Disney Plus series. I believe I touched upon this in another video, but I want to go into a bit more detail. So in my opinion, I find this one fairly unlikely though. So with the Marvel Netflix shows being really, and I mean really dark, I think that Disney wouldn't really pursue a Daredevil series on Disney Plus. But one thing that could be possible is, if Deadpool 3 is going to be rated R, then Disney might pursue this idea. And they might even do that for some of the more darker MCU characters, like Wolverine for example. Like, Logan was a really dark and really violence-driven story. And if Fox could do that, then I'm sure Disney could do the same for Deadpool or Daredevil. I mean, an R-rated MCU film or series could even benefit other characters like the Punisher for example, because he's got a lot of dark backstory and he's got quite a dark nature. Number 3, a Daredevil movie. So I just touched upon this, again, going to go in more detail. The next outcome is Daredevil returning to the big screen, and I say returning because there's already been a Daredevil film, and if you're a long-time Marvel fan, then you will basically know what I'm talking about here. There was of course a Daredevil film in 2003 with Ben Affleck and Jennifer Garner, a new power couple, who played Daredevil and Elektra respectively. And Michael Clark Duncan, I think I'm getting his name right, also portrayed the Kingpin in that film. And Colin Farrell famously portrayed Bullseye and killed Elektra, spoiler alert. But still, I haven't really seen the film. I hear a lot of people don't necessarily think it's that good, but anyway, I will probably watch it eventually, but I'm not really going to anytime soon. Anyway, the next outcome is Daredevil returning to the big screen, and in terms of the storyline, I think it will follow all the dangling plot threads that were left from Daredevil Season 3. Maybe if Marvel is going to do that, then they might want to save it for a potential Daredevil series on maybe Disney+. But if this ends up happening, then the film could benefit from some new MCU characters showing up here and there, so to at least maintain some form of continuity. And if continuity isn't maintained that way, then there will be more ties to the MCU to keep Daredevil, stuck in the MCU for good. Okay, number 4, a Defenders movie. My next idea is to bring the Defenders back to the MCU for a spin-off film, with a couple of recasts here and there. I think really the only 2 actors you could really keep for this are Mike Colter, Luke Cage, and Charlie Cox, who obviously played Daredevil. I mean, you really should bring Charlie Cox back to play the role. I mean, it is a shame that Daredevil got cancelled, and Charlie Cox, from what I hear, was a really good fit for the character. Some people are comparing him to Hugh Jackman and Robert Downey Jr., at least in terms of casting choices, and sure, why not? I mean, it would be cool to see Charlie Cox come back to the role of Daredevil, because I've seen a couple of clips here and there, and yeah, he plays the role really well. Anyway, I think a Defenders film could work if the right villain is included, and I did do some research for this, but I couldn't really find a main villain for the Defenders. So it could be a more street level villain, or even multiple villains of these heroes teaming up. With the Marvel Netflix shows probably not canon anymore, imagine a Defenders film with multiple villains from the shows but reintroduced, like a rebooted Kingpin or a rebooted Bullseye, or maybe even Kilgrave. Seriously, please bring David Tennant back into the MCU, he needs to come back. I mean, seriously, he could still play Kilgrave, but he could play a different character altogether. We don't know, but I'd love to see it. Okay, that was my video on how to bring Daredevil back into the MCU, and if you enjoyed this video, then let me know in the comments below. And if you liked the video and want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.